Welcome to this week's episode. Today we are talking about how aviation SEO works.
I don't know about how, but why.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about kind of the how, but mainly we're asking three questions. Is SEO important for aviation? How do you get the best aviation SEO rankings? And which parts of the industry are the most competitive?
Yes.
Yes.
They all are.
Yeah, they all are, but some are more competitive than others. So, some keywords are easier to get than others. So,
right.
That's cool. Anyway, so we talk about SEO a lot, and there are some very good reasons for that.
I was going to say there's good reasons for that.
There is good reasons for that. Took those words right out of my mouth. So the first reason is because prospects are busy. So you can't just sit down very busy people when you want to and call them on the phone and say, listen to me for 20 minutes while I tell you about my magical product, right? They don't take to that very well. There are people in the industry that do a pretty good job of cold calling, and my hat's off to them. But for the most part, the folks that we sell to are very busy people that want to drive the process themselves. They want to go to, they're like, John. They decide they want X, Y, or Z, and right this afternoon, they are going to the web and they are typing in landing gear for a King Air 350, whatever. And they want it right now.
Well, they want enough information to make a decision.
Yeah.
On whatever it is their reason is for looking.
Exactly. So they have a problem that they want to solve right this very minute. And so they are looking for that answer. So that is the best time to contact any of these people and to get involved with their situation, to make sure that they run into you first.
Before they're your competitor.
Right, exactly, when they need something. And that's another thing is, the keywords are very specific. So if you're looking for landing gear for a King Air 350 ER, that is super specific. Other industries don't have that benefit, I would say. If you're looking for a t-shirt or you're looking for sneakers, there's a whole range of t-shirts and sneakers on the market. But if you're looking for landing gear for this particular aircraft, there's only so many providers of that. So that makes it actually easier for us to acquire customers using keywords and using search engine optimization than a lot of other industries.
True.
Right. So I think SEO works better in aviation than just about any other industry I've heard of.
Better if it's done correctly.
Better if it's done correctly. That's true. So first, let's start with kind of some basics of what do we mean by SEO. A lot of the folks that we talk to are very, very good at what they do and very involved in their industry, but they don't necessarily know all this technical digital marketing jargon, right?
And don't have the tools it takes to do research.
Exactly. So they've heard they need to do SEO, but they're not real clear on what that means. There is no disgrace in that.
And the tools are pricey, but we can get away with it because we have a lot of clients. And when we first started, we didn't have all the tools we have now.
Right.
As we grew, we got more of them to where now we can pretty much have a full quiver.
Right. Exactly. So when I say search engine optimization, what that means is if you go to Google on your phone or on your computer or on your tablet or DuckDuckGo or Yelp or
and use those things.
Bing or any of those kinds of places, and I just type in King Air 350 ER landing gear, I'm going to come up with some answers. And I'm going to show you some of the answers that come up on that page. And I'm going to use Google for our examples because Google has about 70%.
For King Air 350 landing gear?
No, I'll show you some other examples.
Okay, good. But you implied.
Okay.
I'm just trying to keep you straight here so they don't get confused like I was.
You're confused?
Yeah, because you were talking about landing gear. Now you're saying you're going to do this with Google. And I think, really? Landing gear?
So I'm going to talk about some specific keywords using Google. And I'm going to pretend that I am somebody that is looking for a product or service. and I'm going to go to Google. And the reason I'm going to go to Google is because Google gets about 70% of the search engine traffic. So, there's others, the DuckDuckGos, the Bings, and so forth. But altogether, they get only about 25%.
And Google gets that not just in this country. We discovered through some of our overseas players that it's there. I mean, as an example, Russia has their own.
Yandex was developed in Russia, but everybody uses Google.
Yeah, but everybody uses Google.
I didn't know that. So,
yeah.
Right. Most of the SEO that we've done has been centered on the United States, but we do have a few clients that are elsewhere. So we do make adjustments regionally, but today we're talking about the US and we're talking about Google.
Okay.
Okay. So I type in aviation product marketing into Google.
Okay.
And this is what I get. So
that was quick.
What comes up here is aviation marketing by ABCI, which is us.
Yep.
And then I also get these things like people also ask, these are suggestions from Google. Sometimes those come up in your search results where people say, well, you just typed in a bunch of words, but I'm trying to figure out what you really mean.
AI doing its thing.
Yeah, when you're searching for this. What is aviation market? How do I get into aviation marketing? What is the function of marketing in aviation? What is airline products? So some of these are more or less what I had in mind. So, I might go with somebody else. And then aviationmarketing.arrow came up second, as they should. Right? Okay. But
competitor, can you tell?
Exactly. So on this page, I could also look for news about aviation product marketing, images about aviation product marketing, shopping about aviation product marketing, and videos for aviation product marketing. And all of these things are opportunities to get into these results and to get people to find us, right? And you can see it returned 82 million search results for aviation product marketing.
In less than a second, for crying out loud.
Yeah. So if I were looking for aviation product marketing, I am not going through 82 million search results. I'm going to focus mainly on the top 3 to 5 things that come up, right?
Yeah, the first page.
Right. So if it's more than about 5, it probably doesn't really matter because, it's just too low for me to consider. But I will probably look at 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 5 providers of this product or service before I would make a decision.
As an aside, several times at odd points throughout life when I've done a search and I can't find anything on the first page, I've decided that, yeah, okay, fine. And I go to the second. Sometimes I've gone as far as the 8th or 9th pages, can't find it. So I go try again. But you can try it yourself. I mean, go search for something that you care about, and if you can't find it in the first page, maybe 2, if you're really looking hard. But then it gets to be, why am I wasting my time? Because people done their SEO right is going to come out in the first page.
Right. So what I would think, if I'm not finding what I want in the first page or 2, that I'm using the wrong keyword. So then I would try something different. I'd try just aviation marketing or aviation digital marketing or aviation digital product marketing, or I would do something different because if I'm not finding what I'm looking for, and this is why it's important to be, it's like in the old telephone books, you'd be listed under one category. If you're listed under multiple categories, it makes it more likely that people are going to find you. Because we don't always know what are people the most likely to type in to Google. But we do have some software that will tell us how many people a month are searching for aviation product marketing. So that's,
right.
Yeah, really, really helpful. If there's 2 keywords that mean about the same thing, we'll take the one with the most searches. Okay, here's another SEO result for aviation business ideas.
And that only had 80,600,000.
Exactly.
So what's wrong with something? The other million people weren't there.
Right. So this is something that Google has started doing fairly recently, and that is a thing called featured snippets. And what they are doing is Google is trying to provide quick answers to people's questions without having them leave Google. So they don't necessarily want them to click through to our site. They want to answer their question quickly and keep them on their own site longer, right? So featured snippets are great for me as a business owner, because if I can get an answer to people's question really quickly out there, that's great. But I want to make sure that it's just a teaser for what they really want to know. So you notice this is 50 business ideas for aviation startups and side hustles. It only displays maybe 10 on this page. So if they want to see the whole list, they have to click through to my site to get there.
Right.
So featured snippets, they're cool, but you also want to make sure that they are a nice lead in to more information. Okay, here's another result. So this is one that I don't really care about that much, because we want to be seen more as a partner than as an agency. So we don't really like to be called an agency. But if you type in aviation marketing agency, we do come up. And you'll see we come up on a map. Sometimes it will show you, especially if you're searching for a shop or a school or a, something that is a geographic location, the results are going to include a map. So then you can see where each of these places is located and so on. So we do show up on this. We're not the first or second. We're actually the third result on this map.
Which is fine, because don't want to be known as an agency.
Exactly. But if someone were looking for an agency and they find us, they will find that they may see the stars here and go, wow, they've got 10 reviews on Google. These other people don't have any reviews or only have one or whatever. Right. So you do want to kind of go a little wide on your keywords that you're after, and consider some keywords that maybe aren't quite a good fit for you, but that people who don't know any better might be looking for. Right? Okay. Some people who are looking for an aviation marketing agency think that's what they're looking for before they find us.
Yep.
And then they decide, you know what, I really would rather have a partner, but I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So is SEO important for aviation? Yes, because it is cost effective, it is long term, and because people come to you when they're ready to buy. All right, so how do you get the best aviation SEO rankings? There are several things that you can do that are going to improve your results. And the search engines have gotten so much better, but also the competition has gotten so much better since we started doing this, a bunch of years ago.
Yes, they have, on both counts.
It used to be that if you had anything on the web for a lot of different products, you would come up number one because you're the only one with King Air 350 landing gear.
Right.
That's not true anymore. Everybody's on the web. So Google and all of the other search engines have gotten a whole lot better at determining the quality of content. And so they are using different software to determine the difficulty of reading level, to see if it's got related keywords, to see a bunch of things in their algorithm. But what it boils down to is that high quality content is what gets you those search engine rankings. So if you have higher quality content than someone else, you're going to get much better results.
And you'll notice that if you're viewing this, that the slide says content is king, and she added a couple of words. High quality. Just realize that.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be content was king. Any content was king. And it was kind of a quantity over quality. People would generate a lot of pages about a particular topic.
And their black hat SEO was alive and well for a long time. Right,
or they would generate a bunch of keywords in white text on a white background that nobody could see, thinking, that would help their SEO. But that was not what Google considers quality content, and now they're getting much, much better at determining what really is quality.
And more selective.
Yeah. So when we talk about copywriting for SEO, writing a great article that people like is a really good thing, but there are also some tricks that will help you get better search engine results. And one of them is to write your headings in terms of questions. People love that. So that scores really, really well with human beings who are reading a newspaper or reading a textbook or something like that, and they see a question and they go, yeah, I want to know the answer to that question. They read what comes after. So that's one trick to make really, really good search engine friendly content. And another thing is to include lists and ordered lists, just like we had on that featured snippet that we showed you before. So if those are two things. There are probably 50 that we could talk about that a good aviation SEO copywriter would do for you to make sure that that is really high quality content that people love and that search engines will love
And
also.
the writing schools tell you to spend more time on the headline than anything else. So you really got to get that one right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One thing that's been happening in the last couple of years is that they've been preferring video content versus content that doesn't have a video. So if there are two web pages, one of which has a video on it and the other one doesn't, the one with a video will have
Score
a higher
better.
rank. Yeah. So that may come in number 1, 2, or 3 over one that doesn't have a video on it. And the reason is because people, and they've been observing people's behavior, people would prefer to watch a video than read an article, depending on the topic. But, by and large, that's become more and more prevalent as people get broadband and people are watching this on their phones and using headphones. And, there's lots of reasons that people are watching video more than ever before. So think in terms of what could you produce about your topic as a video as opposed to text. And we did this, a couple of years ago. We started doing podcasts as opposed to just writing articles. If you look at our material from more than 6 years ago, it's all articles. And we hardly ever did a video. And now we're doing 2 videos a week for the most part.
Yeah, but 15 years ago, we couldn't even get a
Video to work.
video camera to function on a computer. I mean, so we've come a long ways.
Exactly. And if you watched video on the web, 15 years ago, it would be super jerky. The audio would be terrible. It would just sit and spin while it loaded. It was awful. So, that's part of the reason that...
Now, anybody can buy a webcam, click it in, and you're good to go.
And you're good to go. Absolutely. Another thing is infographics. So one of the things that the search engines look for is how many people are referring to your content. So if you create something shareable, like an infographic, that other people are going to want to use on their website, or at least link to from their website, then that's a wonderful thing. And then there are some directories of infographics or catalogs of infographics where you can submit these so that people who are looking for information on a particular topic and they want graphical information, they can pull something like this up really easily. Debbie Murphy at Jet Brokers is fantastic at making infographics. So if you ever need inspiration, you can look at hers. She can pack a lot of information into a very attractive small package, that can tell you everything you want to know about a particular make and model of aircraft, or about the market, for a particular make and model of aircraft.
Yep.
Which is cool. All right. So we promised to tell you which parts of the industry are the most competitive for SEO.
We did?
We did at the beginning of this podcast. So we're getting close to the end. Hang in there. So one of those things was flight schools. And they actually have been kind of on the bleeding edge of technology in the industry because they serve younger people. People just getting into the industry. A lot of their prospects are high school kids, people looking for a career, those kinds of things. So they're looking for people who are already spending a lot of time online. And so if you search for flight schools in any particular area, you're going to find really, really good SEO happening already. So if you're jumping into that market, you're going to have to invest in search engine. Yeah, exactly. And invest in local keywords as well. So if you're a flight school in a particular city, you want to list the city, you want to list the region, you want to list the place on the airport code, you want to list everything you can about locally so that you're not competing with flight schools across town or across the country.
Right.
It's just much more efficient that way. All right. So air charter services have become more competitive even over the last year than ever before. Those keywords are, especially for very popular city pairs, New York and Miami, any place where there's a lot of traffic going on or a lot of people traveling from one place to another. Those can be super competitive, but air travel or air charter travel in general has gotten really competitive.
Yep, that would be true.
Yeah, so if you're a charter broker or a charter operator, that's another area where search engine optimization is going to be really important to you, and you want to look at what your competitors are doing and maybe do a slightly different angle, maybe do a specialization. So if your competitor is doing a VIP charter and you specialize in golf, as an example, you may want to differentiate in that way so that you're getting the people that are the most likely to want a smaller plane and, a more convenient, maybe closer to some of the golf courses around your area. There's lots of ways that you can focus that so that you're not going head to head with somebody with a monster budget.
Right.
Okay. Brokers. You've heard about the real estate market I think it's in Utah, where there are like 5 real estate brokers for every house that's on the market. Really? Yeah.
Jeez.
Licensed real estate brokers, not necessarily active, but still, it's insane. And it's not much better with airplanes right now. There are not very many aircraft on the market right now compared to the number of brokers. So that means the competition is pretty fierce. If you want somebody to sell your airplane, you can probably find somebody by picking up a rock and throwing it. So if you are a broker, you really do need to make the argument about, why you are the best choice. So you can specialize once again in your geographical location. You can specialize in an aircraft type. You can, we need to spend some time really focusing. And we talked about the 4 P's of marketing, product, placement, position, all of that. We need to think about how we can position you as the best choice in a very crowded marketplace without spending a ton of money.
True.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And it can be done.
It can be done. All right. So go sell more stuff.
Yep. America and aviation in particular needs the business.
Absolutely.
Stay safe and stay healthy.